Hello again, everyone. Today I'm here to profile Schon Design's newest pocket pen offering, which is made out of their Ultem material. So those of you that don't know, Ultem is a super tough material. It's tougher than plastic, and it's often used in the medical field. And a lot of pen makers have been making various designs with this material. And I really like it because it's kind of utilitarian and it's super tough. So it's going to be hard to break. Throw this around. There's also a full-size version, and this pocket version and the full-size version can both be dropper filled. So I have actually done that with this pen, and because of all the seals that are inside here, you can actually see through. So there's a couple of seals here, and then there's another seal down here, and all of those make it so that you don't need to use silicone grease or anything like that when you are dropper filling this pen. I suppose you still could, but I haven't, and it hasn't leaked at all. So, and then there's another little O-ring here. It's just a really nice design, very thoughtful. It's not the cheapest pen in the world, but I think, you know, it's a small maker and you're kind of paying for design and the efforts of a small maker. So just keep that in mind. All right, and I have filled this pen with Sailor Manyo Nadeshiko ink, which is a fairly recent acquisition for me as far as my inks, and it's been really, really lovely in this pen. And then I did put, if you've seen one of my more recent tours of one of my boxes of hand-turned fountain pens, I had this nib on one of those hand-turned fountain pens. It's a stacked nib. It's the only stacked nib I have. And I was complaining a little bit about it being kind of sharp to write with and having some ink flow issues. So what I did do was I went back and I did smooth it a little bit myself. I was kind of afraid to do that at first because the nib was so expensive and handmade, and that, you know, it's the stacked nature of it is handmade. And this is by Nib Lab, by the way. As far as I know, he's only on Etsy, or not Etsy, I'm sorry, Instagram, but maybe elsewhere. I'll put a link to the Instagram so that you can take a look. And after smoothing it, it actually works really, really well. And I think the lesson here is that when I ordered it at first, I did not ask for it to be smoothed. And I think that that was actually something I should have done. I just said, you know, send it to me as is, and I probably should have asked for it to be smooth. So some of that is probably on me, basically. But I did smooth it myself, and now it works great. It's actually really versatile because you can get a really narrow stroke when it's right side up, and then reversed, you can get a pretty broad stroke, and you can actually get some very different lines depending on how you hold it. So I am going to do some swatching today. So this particular pen, pretty much all of the Schon Design pens hold Jowo brand nib units. So you're not really buying it for the nib because you can swap it out with any Jowo nib unit. And this particular one happened to be a Jowo nib unit, so that's why I put it in here. And I wanted to kind of give it another try just because I had not really given it a try the first time by adjusting it myself. I just was really careful with it and didn't go too far with the smoothing on this one. But if you ever do order a stacked nib from Nib Lab, I would say have them smooth it for you because you'll probably get a better result than I did at first, which was a little off-putting. But then it's a really cool design. It looks really nice. It has this hammered piece on the top that's actually hand hammered. So that's kind of cool. All right. So this is Tomoe River, the original Tomoe River. It's a notepad made out of Tomoe River, and I think we're close enough. Okay, so let me just start by showing what different lines you can get. And this is a little bit broader of a line than it first would create because I did smooth it, which made the line a little broader, which is good for me because I don't like super fine. But you probably could have the maker adjust it however you like. Okay, so that's how it is on this side. And then the main nib on this side is actually a little bit narrower down, up and down, and then you get a pretty broad line, which may be like triple broad, something like that. But it's very nice. And then actually if I hold it straight up, I can get a narrower line holding it reversed. And then if I hold it reversed and there's like a little point here where it's like flat and then curves, but there's a point in between. If I try to get that, I can get a totally different line. So it is actually quite versatile in that way. I don't know. No, I don't. Well, maybe a little bit narrower when I lean it down, and it's still a little scratchy on that angle. But you know, I should know that you can really adjust any nib. You just kind of have to feel confident with the nib adjustment. But there you go. It actually writes quite well now. And I think this ink is a good choice because it has a little bit of chromo shading. So, and I think we're actually getting a little bit of the prior ink here that I had in this nib, which was a greenish ink. So we're getting sort of a fade from greenish to the real color of this particular ink of the Nadeshiko. Okay, so here we have a Schon design. It's called a Smoltem, which I think is really super cute. Smoltem. And it is with a nib lab, stacked nib, and then the ink is, let's write with the Sailor Manyo Nadeshiko. Okay, so there you go, just a quick video. And as far as I know, this small pocket pen will be available for the foreseeable future. I actually think I like this better than the full-size Ultem because I have an eyedropper, the larger one though, which would have a huge capacity. But this probably has a pretty large capacity as well as a dropper fill. But it feels really nice in my hand. I actually think it feels a little bit better in my hand than the full-size pen does, but you know, everyone's grip is different. Everyone has different preferences. So, and the grip is the same. And because the grip is the same, he also has, you can swap out this grip section for a grip section that will hold a size 8 Bach nib, which I've done on 2 of my other Schon design pens that have the same grip section. And that's really kind of fun. It gives you the expandability. Those grip sections are sold separately for an additional amount, but I think if you're into the size 8, it might be kind of fun. And it might be kind of fun to have a size 8 nib on such a tiny little pen. But like I said, I actually think the balance is a little bit better for my hand on the pocket pen when posted than the full size. And it's really quite a nice full size when posted. I would think even someone with fairly large hands, it wouldn't be too tiny. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.